This is the thing. Who you choose to hang around with, who you choose to have in your posse is exactly who you become. Choose your posse wisely. I'm here to tell you that putting yourself first is not selfish, it's revolutionary. Welcome to the Woman Warrior Podcast, empowering women to light their lives on fire through Ayurveda, yoga, spirituality, and fitness. Jai Bhagwan, Woman Warriors, and welcome to the Woman Warrior Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Satyavani, and I have my fabulous co-host here,
Prajna Madhavi. Hello, everyone.
So good to be here. And today we have a very special guest, Mandi Martinez, who I cannot wait to share the story that I actually discovered as part of Fit Body Bootcamp, which Mandy is a member there, hence the shirts today. Yep. So shout out for Fit Body in Boise, and come and join us there and work out with us if you are local. So Mandy, and I'm not going to give it away yet because we want to do our wellness check-in, but Mandy was a guest, or a contestant, not a guest, a contestant on season 7 of The Biggest Loser. So we are going to talk about that today and just kind of get into the nitty gritty of her whole process because she has quite the story to share. So we're very excited about that. I'm excited. Are you excited?
I loved that show. I watched that many a season.
Many seasons. Did you watch the show, Mandy, before you were a contestant?
Oh, yes. I was one of those sitting there watching in my living room eating pizza going, oh, these guys,
look at
what
these
are they
people
doing to themselves? Yeah.
Crazy.
And then, what do you know? It turned out to be one of those people. I love it. So we start out our show, Mandy, with a wellness check-in and just checking in on how you are doing on all levels of yourself. Physically, energetically, mentally, emotionally, your level of awareness and consciousness, and spiritually, if you feel connected in that way. So why don't you tell us how things are going?
Things are going. They're going good, actually. Doing really, really good right now. Physically, I feel strong. I'm let myself gain a little weight back, and now I'm back down again and feeling healthier and stronger every day. So that's good.
Awesome.
A little sore every day, like
a little sore, little sore every day, which is nice though. Keeps you know that you're working hard. Mentally, I feel good. I do a lot of journaling and I do meditation, and I just
What's your meditation practice?
It's guided meditation. I do it in the morning after the gym.
I love that.
It's easier for me. It's hard to get my brain to shut off. I'm diagnosed ADD, and it takes a lot for me to mentally be in that space. So guided meditation works for me, and I love it. Yeah.
Do you use an app or what do you do?
I just use YouTube.
There you go.
Yeah.
Do you have somebody special that you follow?
A few people.
Okay.
Can I think of their names right at the moment? No,
that's okay.
A blank.
That's okay.
But
usually,
I do.
like, we find somebody. We're like, that voice resonates with me. I can do it. So that's wonderful.
No, but I love that. And then just try and journal every night before I go to bed. So
excellent. Yeah. How about energetically?
The energy comes and goes, honestly.
Sure.
I feel like for the most part, I'm pretty good. When I think about that, I'm like 3 years away from being 50 years old. I am definitely and talking to all my younger friends that have little kids, I'm like, nope, I couldn't do it anymore. But I'm a grandma of twin boys that are 3.
Wow.
And they're adorable. And they live in California, so I'm going to visit them in September. But I'm like, am I going to be able to do it for a week and just like be around them and all the energy? Because it's different when you get to be on your own schedule. You get to wake up, go to the gym, relax, shower, work, whatever it is. Kids are a whole different ball game. Yep. So I'm excited. I have the energy I have right now. I want to say I feel like it's good, but
excellent.
Check back with me after September.
It'll be a test.
We'll be looking for you.
Yeah.
I love that. And how about like your level of consciousness and awareness?
It's gotten better over the years. It's definitely something that I've struggled with for sure, knowing where I'm at and where I'm going and where I can be. So I feel like you just have to make that conscious effort every day of knowing, okay, am I good here or am I not? So I feel like that's just an everyday check-in that I do with myself. And right now it's good.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Nice. And how about spiritually?
I've have a lot of,
and it doesn't mean religious.
Yeah. I have a lot of, I don't even know how to say it. things I battle with. So I feel like spiritually, I could probably use more work. That's probably one of my one of my spots that I feel like I could probably tap in a little bit better. Yeah.
I love it.
It's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Completely common. And that's great. And the wisdom of being 47.
Yeah.
Oh, such a good space.
It is.
Yeah. I just crossed over into 50 and love it.
It's good. And it's so funny because being a director of a beauty school, I work with a lot of younger women.
Oh, yeah.
And
they're probably your child's age, right?
Yeah. And seeing the troubles and stuff they go through every day, I'm just like, I promise you guys, you will make it through. I promise this is going to be nothing in a little bit. Like, so it's kind of funny to see. I went through all that, you know, and now I'm here. So it's good.
It's good.
Yeah.
You have survived 100% of your hardest days.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. That's great. I love that. Yeah.
There you go.
Yep.
So, all right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Praj, what about you? How's it going, girl?
Good. I would say physically, I feel, again, strong, sore. My body has been doing some different things, different activity than I'm used to. And so got a little soreness in the knees and, a little back thing. But it's all good soreness. And I feel strong. I did the in-body scan the other day, and I've gained 2 pounds of muscle, which is great.
Girl.
I know. So I'm happy
Jacked
with
and
that.
tan.
Just in time to go back to school.
Oh,
yeah.
boy.
So,
Okay.
so yeah, emotionally, mentally, just kind of gearing up for that. I had someone say the other day, are you just going to relish every day this year so if it's going to be your last year? And I'm like, that's a really good way of putting it.
I
just
love
relish.
that.
Yeah.
Who asked you that?
I don't remember.
Okay.
Somebody
So shout out to whoever out there
whoever
said
that
that to
was.
Praj.
It's a great way of phrasing it. Because a lot of the time we do frame things in a negative light, things that we're, over or things that we don't enjoy as much. We can definitely tap into the negative side, and that was a nice positive spin on it. I feel like my intuition is really quite good. My energy is good right now as well. I'm getting a lot of stuff done. Just thinking about all the things that I need to get done. I'm getting a lot of stuff
You're
done.
kind of cranking right now.
Yeah, I don't know if it's I gotta get all done before school starts or what, but I feel like, I'm just getting a lot of stuff done. Which is nice.
What kind of stuffs?
Well, I've got my interview with College of Idaho on Wednesday.
Woohoo!
So getting that done.
I'm doing a shout out.
Okay.
College of Idaho, if you do not hire this woman as the beach volleyball coach,
It is your decision.
it is your decision, but that would be a poor decision. Okay. So, and you don't want me to visit your office. No, I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. She's the one though. She's the one.
And just doing a lot of stuff around in the garden, getting my calendar all lined up for the year. And
I know we kind of cranked on that the other day.
yeah, we did.
Boom.
Yeah,
Love
just getting finances figured out and dog taken care of and all that good stuff. So, and then I would have to agree. Spiritual is definitely one that I kind of goes to the wayside a little bit if there's anything. I tend to focus on the other things before I focus on that one. So always coming back to the spiritual side is good for me to tap in and just, I think us doing some of the sutras reading will be really good for me and just tapping into that stuff. So, so yeah. How about you?
Oh my God. Both of you have just definitely brought for me very similar things. Physically, I feel great. For the most part, last week, because I was in San Diego, I was visiting my mom, and my mom had a little bit of a setback in her healing process. So she didn't fall. She had a bit of a stumble, I guess that's what we'll call. And so to catch you up, Mandy, my mom had a hip replacement recently, and my dad passed away in May. So it's been a lot with the family. So I've been rotating down to San Diego every 4 to 5 weeks just to check in on my mom, see my brother, help out where I can. And so my mom had a little bit of a stumble, and it caused her pubis ramus where ramus 2 fractured, which is in the pelvic bowl.
Yeah.
And it's in the inner thigh, kind of, not to be totally cross, but kind of in the crotch. And so it's very painful and just super sensitive to walk on and all of that. So, but the good news is that we got her some in-home PT, which actually started today. So I'm excited to talk to her about it to see how it went. Because unfortunately, she had just been signed off by her PT for the hip replacement. And then it literally happened like a week later. And you're like, oh, what is going on here? So, while I was down there, I was helping a lot, so I didn't have as much time to spend on working out and all that. I mean, I worked out every day, but not as much or
for someone who works out 3 times a day. Yeah, and I'd say that's a little less for you.
It was a little less, so it went to once a day. It went to once a day, and I thought to myself, actually, like, not to be a total jerk, but like I thought to myself, this is what most people do. You know, like they work out once a day. Right. And exactly. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, I feel a little weird right now, you know? So, but it was good for me. It was good for me. Because actually coming back, you know, I went into the weight room this week, obviously, actually this past weekend, and I felt stronger. Like I felt more like I had a good rest. Which was nice.
Your body needs that.
Yeah, it was totally needed. I know. For the record, every Prajna is like my check-in. Like, you're working a little too hard.
Let's bring it back down a little.
Let's pull it in, girl. Let's pull it in, because I tend to be like, ah, and she's like, rein it in, babe. So that's good. So I feel good about that. And then energetically, you know, because there's so much going on while I was in San Diego, I felt energetically a little bit. You know, there are moments where I felt very like, okay, very aware, but also fatigued because, I mean, just dealing with a loved one that is in pain, it's just, you feel like you can't, and you feel helpless, like you can't do anything. And then on top of it, my poor new little kitty is at home with my husband. So we have 2 cats now. She's got this new kitty, and he got an intestinal infection. And so my husband's home dealing with that, and he's giving me the daily update, and I'm just like, oh my God, like when it rains, it pours, but like, it's gonna be okay. So, but he's on the upswing now, so that's good.
Good.
Mentally and emotionally, I actually feel pretty dialed in. Like, even through all of that, I'm like, you know, I come home and I vomit on you, you know, with what has happened. You're just like, tell me what happened. And I'm like, but, and then it's over. And I'm like, okay, move on. Whereas years ago, that would have been something that I'd be like ruminating on, all of this stuff, et cetera. Now it's just like, okay, I got to get it out. Boom, it's done. Let's move on with our life. So I feel really good about that. Yeah. And then I would say very aware of a lot of things right now, you know, which has been really good, and getting things done in that awareness, where I'm cutting out things in my life that are just not serving me, and I don't need.
A little saucha.
Yeah, a little saucha, a little cleanliness, like getting some things out, not, you know, even just, I think you were doing some purging this week too.
Yes.
So just purging stuff out of, you know, my physical stuff out of my house, and just getting dialed in with like, okay, what are the, I don't need all of these things in my life. Let me just pinpoint what it is that I'm really passionate about and focus on that. And we did that, you know, with the business and all of that. So I feel really good about that. And then spiritually, just like the two of you, like I always feel spiritually connected, but you know, you brought up, Mandy, you know, how you do meditation every day, and that's a wonderful way to stay spiritually connected. I had made this commitment in July that I was going to do yoga nidra every day, which is like a guided meditation practice. And I would say that I did it every single day until I got to San Diego. And then I fell off the wagon because, you know, errands needed to be run, the kitchen needed to be cleaned, my mom needed to be helped, you know, her care provider, you know, needed, you know, me to help organize some things, et cetera. So I fell off that bandwagon, but I'm back at it this week. So it's good. Yeah. It's good. You know, I mean, this is life, the human existence.
The householder.
There you go. Yep. For sure. All right. Well, so today We have the beautiful Mandi Martinez here, as has already been introduced. And we are going to talk about taking big steps in your health to regain your life. Because I think a lot of folks tend to not regain their life and their health because they're holding themselves back physically or need a big change. And I was inspired when Mandy just very offhandedly in one of my classes.
Yeah, I was on The Biggest Loser.
Yeah, she was just like, she's like, I learned this. I forgot how it came up, but she was just like, yeah, when I was a contestant on The Biggest Loser, and I was like, whoop, it was like a needle coming off a record. I'm like, excuse me? And then you started to share a little bit about it. Yeah. So we are here to talk about your inspiring story and share it with all the woman warriors that are out there, because I have no doubt that there are women out there who are going to definitely resonate with your story. So now I will say that out of the questions that we have, Prajna designed most of them. So because she's an excellent question designer. So Praj, why don't you start?
Okay. All right. So I hadn't really, didn't really know. Actually, when I saw your face, I was like, yes, I know Mandy. I was like, oh, who is Mandy? So it's so nice to have you here.
Thank you.
So the first question that I had, just not really knowing any backstory or anything like that, but what was the deciding factor that led you to apply to The Biggest Loser? And you can go as deep as you want into that.
Well, I'm just going to blame my sister. So it was actually just something that we used to watch as a family all the time. And my sister and I, just a little backstory, my dad is extremely obese. And I do believe that, it runs in the family. I feel like your genes are just your genes, and that's what it is, which is so funny because my mom used to be a bodybuilder. So I have two very extremes in my family. Yeah. So my sister and I have struggled with weight after we started having children and being, in a happy relationship and married, and we saw this show and we loved it and watched it all the time. And then, on the bottom of the screen, it says to apply for an NBC's Biggest Loser, send your application or whatever. Well, didn't even think nothing, because I would never, because I am more like, my sister's very outgoing, and the show, she's very she's a person. When you go to a party, you want to bring her with you because she's the one that breaks the ice and gets everyone doing things.
Gotcha.
I'm very just like, hi, like Mandy, okay.
More introverted.
Don't know what, yes, very introverted. And so she came with me. She came at me and was like, I think we should apply for the show. And I was like, what? And I'm like, I am not standing on national television in a sports bra and spandex. There's no way. And she's like, let's just apply. She's very convincing. Let's just apply. We're never going to get picked.
You never know.
Do you know
like
how
somebody
many people?
I know. Actually.
Come on, let's just do this smart. We'll give it a try.
Yeah.
What's the worst that can happen?
Exactly. So, yeah. So,
I love your sister already. Yeah. Can totally relate.
Yeah. And so she talked me into it, and we had to do a video submission and an application.
What's the video submission?
Just us, like, why do we want to be on the show? Kind of showing our personalities and who we are. So she's hilarious and funny. So she made it very funny. We went to I can't even remember what stores it was, like Old Navy or something, and tried on clothes that were obviously too small for us. And we were just like, we can't fit in any clothes because we're too chubby, whatever.
Goodness.
And so we did that. And then this application packet was super huge. And I'm just like, at the time, my husband was like, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. She said, we're probably never going to get picked. I'm just doing it so she just stops talking about it, And he's like, oh my gosh. And from
I'm doing this to shut my sister up.
And from that moment on, now my ex-husband, but he was like, I just have this feeling, I feel like you guys are going to get picked, and I don't know why you're doing this. And I'm just like, I don't know why either. But I was really convinced, 20,000 people try out for that show.
Do they really?
Yeah.
That's how many?
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I was like, okay, we are never going to get picked. Anyway, so all of a sudden, months went by. We turned in the application, turned in the video. 5 months went by, 6 months maybe even. And my sister gets this message on Facebook. My name is Drew. I think his name was Drew. He's like, I am a producer on The Biggest Loser, if this is the Aubrey that turned in a video with her sister Mandy, we would like to talk to you, but we've lost your application. So we don't know if this is the right person.
Oh my God.
So they literally sought you out.
They literally messaged my sister.
I was going to say, that's weird to get a message on Facebook.
Found her on
Navy
Facebook.
girls.
Yep. Found her on Facebook. And she was like, no way. So I'm driving home, and we lived up in Idaho City at the time. So we would lose reception.
Yeah.
So I'm driving home and she calls me and she's like crying and stuff. I'm like, what is going on? She's like, well, this guy from The Biggest Loser wants us to fly to Denver, Colorado and go in person interview for the show. And they're going to give us VIP tickets because they want to see us. And I'm like, what? Are you kidding me?
Oh my God.
My heart, was like beating out of my chest. I'm like, we're not going to do this. There's no way. And so
you're on a plane to Denver.
So we did. We went on a plane, went to Denver. And the funniest thing is when I was walking through the crowd, because there was a line around, we got front row, just walk in. Everyone was stopping me thinking I was Brittany from the season before. And oh my gosh, Brittany, what are you doing here? I gained my weight back.
That was?
Yeah, because I was a fan of the show. So I'm like, I'm not Brittany. I'm sorry. And so it was really funny that everyone's like, they already thought you were on the show. They thought, and I was like, what? This is so weird. Then we get there, do our application, and then we fly home and we don't hear anything again for probably 3 or 4 months. And I'm like, okay, well, that was a fun experience. I'm so glad it's over, blah, blah. Driving home. I mean, I could keep going. Do you want me to keep going?
No, please.
Absolutely.
This is great.
I was driving back to Idaho City. And again, right before I lost reception, my phone rings and it's a phone number I don't recognize. And I answer it and I stop my car. I pull over and stop my car. And I'm like, hello. And he's like, hi, my name is, I think it was Drew again.
This is Drew again.
This is Drew. I'm a producer on the show The Biggest Loser. And we'd really like to fly you and your sister out to be finalists for the show. And I was just like, oh my gosh. It was so surreal. I cannot believe this is happening right now. And I was like, okay. And then this time I'm the one crying, calling Aubrey, I'm crying. She's all, what's the matter? What happened? And I'm like, they want us to fly to California to be finalists for the show. And she's like, you are kidding me. And I'm like, no. Wow. I get home. The hard part was my husband was not wanting me to go.
He wasn't supportive.
He wasn't supportive in it. And I think because he knew I wasn't happy and he knew that I would find myself, I guess, maybe. And
was afraid
and not want the life that we had. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so that was very, very hard. And I just tell you right now, people on the internet are so mean because the minute I was vulnerable and told that story, I had so many people being so mean to me because I chose to do that for myself and not just do what he wanted me to do,
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't shock me.
Yeah.
But wow. And you know what? Good for fucking you.
It was hard.
For going ahead and doing it. I mean, that's woman warrior status right there. Yeah. Everything that people are telling you, you're just not paying attention to.
Yeah.
That is complete woman warrior status. I'm doing this because this is about me.
Yeah.
Good for you, Mandy.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah. That was definitely that's still something that I struggle with too to this day because it was very hard leaving. I had 2 boys and they were very young at the time. I think 6 and 3, so really young. And I had to be gone for 5 months, because once we went to once we were finalist, if we got picked, we left right from there to the ranch is what it was called.
So you don't come back home. Oh.
Yeah. And so I had to be prepared mentally to know that I might not be home for a while. So I think the hardest part, I mean, it was hard because I loved my husband a lot. And I think it was hard seeing him go through that battle, but also me knowing that I'm not going to see my boys for a while was really hard. And I had to have a lot of friends come in and help with taking care of them and helping my husband at the time and everything. So it was a lot of sacrifice, I feel like.
Yeah. If you don't mind me asking, just to insert a question here, did your husband battle with weight?
Yeah, he's not like extremely overweight or was at the time, but I mean, he had a little beer belly, you know, so it wasn't.
But it wasn't to the level that you were at.
The dad bod.
Okay. Yeah, he had the dad bod.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But it wasn't anything like crazy. Yeah. So
because we see that a lot in partnerships, you know, where both people are, you know, in a state of dis-ease or an unhealthy lifestyle, and one starts to take charge of it and the other person feels like they're left behind.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, for sure. But that was the start of it.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And what was it like on your sister's side? Did she have similar struggles with her family, or?
Like I said, my sister's very independent. She was married at the time. She also had 2 very, very young. She has 4 kids, and 2 were older and 2 were younger. And her husband was really supportive and was like, go do it if this can make you happy. So she was gung-ho to not know what she got us into.
I love it.
Yeah.
So fast forwarding, you get on the show. Now, if just as a clarifying question, 20,000 people apply. And how do they narrow down the numbers? Did you get any sense of how that played itself out?
I know that 40, because it was a couple season.
Right.
So I know that
there was sister teams, there was
husband and wife,
teams,
father and son,
yep.
Mother, daughter, Yep. And so I know there were 40 couples that got sent to this secluded hotel to do like the finalizing pick. But other than that, I have no idea how they whittled it down to that many.
Got it.
I just thought it was kind of cool to hear that they were like, you guys, 20,000 people tried out for the season and you're it. And I'm like,
that's incredible.
Yeah.
Now, were you there when they narrowed? Because ultimately, what was it, 12 couples?
No, 20, there was 22 of us.
22 of us. So there was just 11
couples.
11 couples.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So 11 couples. So were you there when they narrowed it from the 40 couples to the 11?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
They took us all into 2 separate rooms. So the 40 of us, so 20, whatever, or 44 of us. I can't remember. It was an even number, obviously, but they took a group over here and a group over here. And then we're all looking around the room like, okay, this looks like a good cast. I feel like all of us could be on the show, you know?
I love it.
And then Allison Sweeney comes walking in the room and I was like, oh my gosh, that's Days of Our Lives girl. Like, right there.
That's Sammy.
That's really her.
That's really her. And then she was like, I'm sorry to tell you guys. And we're like, oh, well, you know, that was fun, you know? And then she's like, but we're going to be on The Biggest Loser. And we were just like, oh my gosh. I could have swore the hotel floor was going to cave in because having that many really big people jumping up and down, I was like, we were going to crash this place. But
wow.
Yeah. So
wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So that whole process happens. You go to the ranch, you're doing the thing. What challenges did you face when you returned home?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So,
and we will insert in here a couple of the video footage of you specifically, Mandy, into this podcast so people can see what the transformation was like. But when you did get home, you know, what were some of the challenges that you faced? Because I would imagine that you did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of challenges, actually. A lot of them mentally, a lot of them physically. It's very, very surreal coming home thinking in my small little mind at the time that only my friends and family were going to see this show, you know?
The whole world saw that show.
And you get home and you realize, oh my gosh. And I got voted, and I voted myself home, but in time to watch the very first episode air on TV. And I was like, holy cow, everyone is going to see me go through this battle that I just went through. And
how much weight did you lose?
I lost 100 pounds.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah. And it was, between 7 and 8 months. So it was quick and fast and ferocious and tiring and everything else. Yeah. But I think coming home, the biggest challenge was, and, you know, I'm not going to say Jillian played a big role, but she did as far as mentally with me, good and bad. And I feel like she kind of, you know, ultimately my husband was right. And I found who I am and what I wanted and what was going to make me happy. And so I dealt with that, like my sexual like orientation or whatever. And I knew that I honestly think I'm pansexual, which I don't know. Like, I really I crave love from whoever, you know. If you're going to treat me with respect and love me, then I don't care what your physical body is, you know.
Absolutely.
I want you to share that I want to share that with someone. And so I think that was really, really hard for me to know that I was breaking his heart. That was a really hard one. And then also not knowing how my boys were going to react, because my youngest one was so young, like he just wanted happy mommy, so he didn't really care. My older one was 7 or 8 at that time and didn't really understand, and we had a lot of growing pains. And we just recently actually had a really, really great conversation, and he, you know, cried and I cried, and he was like, I needed to have this talk with you 15 years ago. And I was like, why do we wait so long, you know, to do that with our children or with anyone in general, you know, why do we wait that long? But it's really good now, but it's definitely something that I have battled with myself for on the mom side, on the wife side. But, and then
I love that courage though.
Yeah.
Like you really need to be commended for that too. You know, part of the work it is that Prajna and I do is about helping women identify who their true self is. And that comes in all different shapes and sizes, and we in different orientations, you know, different spiritual orientation, different sexual orientations, you know, whatever. I mean, everything is in and nothing is out. And the courage that takes for people to fully step into themselves, and especially women, to step fully into themselves is tremendous. And so I completely commend you again, like woman warrior, boom, check. You got it.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. And then on the totally other side of it is I'm now this famous person for 5 minutes that everyone knew and watched what I did and watched what I ate. And we'd go out to restaurants and people would be like, what is she eating? Like, what is she drinking? Like, she's at the bar. Why is she at the bar? Like, I wonder if she goes to the gym still, like just like crazy. And strangers coming up to you like, how are your boys? Like, they're so cute. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I don't know any of you. Like, this is so crazy. And so that was fun for a moment. And then it wasn't. And then it was more just like, well, how could you do that? Why did you do that? Like, and then I think just the mental game of me not being strong and me still trying to figure out who I was in general was just a really hard battle that I dealt with for a lot of years. And I think that's probably one of the reasons that I only probably kept my weight off for probably about 3 or 4 years, and then started gaining again. And that's what I think I wasn't matching up with the person I was. Like my brain wasn't matching with my physical self, and my mental health wasn't where it needed to be as well. Wow. So yeah, it was hard.
Now, when you say, if you don't mind me probing a little bit, when you say that your mental health wasn't matching up with your physical self, what did that mean for you?
So physically at the time, I was the strongest I'd ever been. I came home, I ran Roby Creek 2 years in a row. I did half marathons and I loved running. I loved working out, everything. And that was my escape from my mental, like, I'm not happy in my marriage. Who am I? Who do I love? What do I want to be? What type of mom am I? You know, what do I want to do from work? Like, do I still want to do hair? Because taking on other people's energy, even if they're sitting in your chair for a half hour or 2 hours,
it's a lot.
It's a lot. And so trying to decide if I was going to continue doing that or wanted to do that, and then trying to shut out the noise of all the people that made me kind of feel like a bad person for doing what I thought was going to make me happy. So,
gotcha.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you're inspiring me moment to moment to moment. It's incredible. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Prash, next question.
Well, I feel like actually you covered some of the things we had on the Koshik level, what was challenging for you. And I feel like you really spoke to.
I would agree.
It was a physical challenge where you're mentally, emotionally challenged, even spiritually challenged. That's awesome. So I will move to the next one. What lessons did you take away from being on the show?
I think just surface level, I took away, don't be so hard on yourself. Like being home in time to watch the first episode air and cringing. Every moment I cried, every moment I was eating a slice of pizza and crying because I wanted, like, whatever challenge it was. I was just like, oh my gosh, this is so like silly to think about. At the time, in that moment, it was so much to me and it meant so much. But then coming home and watching it, it was almost comical. Like, why did you let it affect you so much, you know? And so that was definitely hard, but kind of giggled a little bit about it too. Like, oh, I am now the person that's no longer sitting on the couch eating the pizza. I'm on the show eating a slice of pizza, crying because I just want a trainer to come home with me for 2 weeks or whatever it was. I don't even remember, but yeah. So,
okay. But I think it's fair to say that, you know, when you're in those moments, you know, especially when you're really working your body, everything comes up.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I mean, it's just, you know, you feel your whole life kind of contracting in that space, and you feel very, there's emotional stuff that comes up. There is, forget about physical pain. Of course, I have no doubt that you experienced physical pain, but also just all of these questions that come up, like, you know, why am I doing this? How am I doing this? Who am I? What is my purpose? You know, how do I live my purpose? How do I do all of these things? I mean, it's a big emotional upheaval.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. I think I've always used exercise or sports or ever since I was little, because I was always fit and athletic in high school, all through the years. It wasn't until I started having kids that I started gaining weight and kind of letting myself go. But I feel like I used it as therapy. Like I pushed myself until the brink. But that I've had some of the best cries after workouts, after races, after, you know, just pushing yourself so hard to where you allow yourself to have that. I'm only human. Like I'm just going to melt right here and just cry about my life right now. Yeah. And I love it for that reason. And I think that's why I'm so addicted to working out, because I love that feeling you get afterwards. A really, really hard workout. It's like, well, besides all the endorphins and everything else, but it's that moment of, you have that moment of weakness and your body just allows you to feel all those emotions. And I love it.
It's like a purging.
Yeah.
I always feel that way. I feel like very cleansed after I exercise. And if I don't, I'm just a cranky bitch. Yeah. It's terrible.
I do. And I try and tell everyone in my life, I'm like, eat. And people are like, I hate exercise. I'm like, I know, but if you just did it and stuck to it, I promise you it's rewarding and it feels so good, but not everyone thinks that way.
Well, and even what you just mentioned is it, if they don't want to exercise, then is it because they don't want to tap into that part of themselves?
I mean, true.
Where they might actually see their true selves and actually feel emotion. I mean,
and start asking questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes people don't want answers to those questions. It's, you know, much like you shared, Mandy. It's like, well, I have this life, I'm in this life, you know, and then all of a sudden there's this shift, whether, you know, you go on The Biggest Loser, not that everybody does that, but, or you take on a new life path, and then it just has this effect. It has, you know, you're working things physically that, you know, in our world, in the Ayurveda world, we say that your issues are in your tissues. So when you start working your tissues, stuff comes out, and then like you can't unsee it. The issues come up and you're like, okay, I got to now deal with this. And sometimes that can feel very, very lonely. Did you have moments of loneliness while you were at the ranch on the show?
Oh, so many. Yeah. So many. And I think just going back to Jillian, so her mom is a really well-known psychiatrist. And she would always say, I'm not my mom, but do you want to talk? Do you want to like, and she just had this way of like just pulling stuff out of you. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. But she would open up things to make me think of, you know, cause she was always huge in, well, you're obese for a reason.
Yes.
You know, whatever that reason may be. And I'm like, I am fine. There is no reason why I, you know, was in a happy marriage. Like I'm fine. I don't have any of that. But I found out my superpower in life is something that everyone can do, but blocking out trauma. Like any sort of trauma that's ever happened to me, I just forget about it and move on. And that's something that my sister, my brother, like my other sister, it's harder for them, you know, they kind of live in it. And I'm like, just get over it already, you know, forget about it. And they're not like that. And so I realized that's something that I do good, but I don't do perfect, because there was a reason why I was kind of shutting myself down and letting myself kind of be in the shadows. And I think gaining weight was that reason, you know, that was my hiding, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So she definitely lonely nights after talks with her, and even Bob, you know, he helped me a lot too. And I think being in a room by yourself, or even with my sister next to me, we were such on two different levels.
What was that like? I'm curious when you say you're on two different levels. Like, did you interact differently, or, you know, as a result? Yeah,
my sister is very... it's all out on, you can see Aubrey is who she is, and it's out for the world to see. There's no secrets. There's no hiding. If she's mad, she's going to be aggressive. If she's sad, she's going to cry. She's very, you see it on her face.
She is who she is.
Yeah, she is who she is. And I was very much like, oh, don't cause trouble. Just, it's okay. Like I was kind of, and looking back on my family and my childhood, I feel like, because there was so much tension, I was more and I'm the oldest, and I think I just wanted everyone to be happy.
The peacemaker.
The peacemaker. Just, it's fine. Don't worry about it. You know, and my sister's like, nah. And I'm like, okay. So we were totally different. I dealt with my issues in silence, and I had feelings. So just, I feel like I've been bisexual my whole life. And something that I blocked out that Jillian kind of helped me open up. She's like, this isn't who you are, basically. And thinking back at all my memories, I kissed my first girl when I was in 4th grade and forgot all about it. Didn't even forgot all about it.
Blackout things?
Yeah. It was one of those things that's not right. I'm not supposed to do that. You know, and completely forgot about it. And so everyone's like, well, when did you decide to be lesbian? And I'm like, there's no deciding. Like, that's who you are. Like, you either
woke up one day.
I just woke up.
Taste the day.
Yeah. Let me see if this works. I'm like, it's definitely not the easier life. So I don't know why anyone would pick that, you know? But I think, she was very good at like saying what was wrong with her. She would say it and purge it. And I envied her for that, because she didn't care, you know, and people would listen, and she would talk it out and yell it out and scream it out. Do I still think she has a lot of issues? Yes. From our past, of course, 100%. But I feel like we just were on two very different battles at that time.
Sure.
And plus, she's not an athlete. She hated working out. So the minute she said, let's sign up for the Biggest Loser, I'm like, am I going to be doing all the work? Because I know you don't work out. So, and you don't even like sports. So what are you talking about?
Like, so, and you are who?
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Now, with the whole process, because, you know, transformation is its own process. It's not just physical transformation. It's on all of the koshic levels that we've discussed that transformation starts to happen. Did that transformation cause changes in the relationship between you and your sister?
100%.
Okay. Was there struggle there, or was it like you came to a space of unity at one point?
Yeah.
Or
and this is a hard subject for me now, because actually my sister and I don't talk anymore. And so I feel like there was a lot of, sorry, I'm going to try not to get like emotional about it. But
take your time. It's okay.
Yeah, we were best friends from the time she was born till, you know, even after the show, we always have been head to head. So love each other, hate each other. It didn't matter. We were there for each other all the time.
What's your age difference?
2 years.
Oh, okay.
So she always called me Miss Perfect, because I played sports and tried to just do the best I could in school. And she was the girl that was partying as a freshman and didn't care and got in fights. And which I envied, which was crazy because I wanted to be that cool, you know, like, oh, you're Aubrey's sister. Like, hey, will you come beat up this girl for me? And I'm like, yeah, that's not me. Like, I can't do that. I'm sorry. I'm like, you'll have to find my sister. I don't know. So I
can make an appointment for you.
I'm like so polar opposite. But since that time, we've just grown apart. And so, yeah. It's hard still and like, very hard.
And it's very real.
It's real. Yeah.
It's very real.
So yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that wasn't too sensitive.
No, it's fine. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So recently, when you and I first chatted about this whole thing and I was like, you got to be on the podcast. Mm-hmm. Of course, my phone is listening to me. Apple, I know you're listening. And in I think it was my Instagram feed, there was an interview with Jillian Michaels that got pulled up. And I think it was somewhat recently, definitely post Biggest Loser, because the show ended when?
Well, I feel like the last season with Jillian and Bob the last season with Jillian was my season.
Season 7.
Season 7. And I feel like Bob continued for a couple seasons maybe. Okay. And then they got different trainers and then it might have went, so maybe 5 years after my season and then stopped.
And your season was?
In 2012? 10.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow.
So 2015. Okay. Yeah. I can't believe that show is almost 10 years old.
I know.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So in my Instagram feed, there was this interview with Jillian and she was talking about, the main catalyst for her leaving the show. And she mentioned that the show was not equipped holistically. Like you had the medical doctors that were there. You had she and Bob as trainers, but they were not equipped to work with the contestants on the show from the psychological standpoint. And she had explained that on one of the seasons, there was a son and father couple duo, and they came from a collectively morbidly obese family. So the wife was morbidly obese, the father and the son. The son and the father decided to go on the show, and then I guess they had a Christmas break because how long do you spend on the ranch? Was it 8 months?
Yeah, 7 to 8 months. Yeah.
7 to 8 months. So they had, I guess, Christmas break fell in at some point, and they went home, and then they came back. And even though they have I guess they provide you with, check-ins and all of that kind of stuff. But even when that happened, when they came back, the son had put on 15 or 20 pounds, something like that. And so she has a conversation with the son, and it turns out that the son was, obviously saw his mom when he came back home and felt very emotionally upset for his mom because his mom felt like the son and the husband were leaving her behind because they had lost all of this weight. They had a new lease on life and they had new habits, et cetera. So the son, rather than continuing to move forward, kind of reverted back to some of the behaviors that he had and started eating like his mom again, et cetera, because he felt bad about that. And so my question is, would you agree that the show was not equipped to deal with the psychological aspect of it, of the contestants? And if not, if yes, why would you say that? And if not, then why as well?
So I think, so just to be totally transparent, we did have a psychologist that would come visit us.
Okay.
So we had not very many check-ins, but there was 3 or 4 times that he would come and meet with us and ask us how we're doing, how we're feeling, really get to know us. And, he told me a lot of things about myself, almost the same stuff that Jillian was saying, this isn't you, you're not happy. You need to find out who you are and then you'll truly be happy, which that still almost to this day is what does that mean? Find out who I am. I feel like I know who I am, but maybe I don't. I don't know. So, but I feel like Jillian took a lot of that on when she didn't necessarily have to. Gotcha. I feel like she inserted that part of herself into digging deeper into why are you overweight, Bob didn't do that approach. So I feel like he didn't make it that. when she totally made it that.
Gotcha.
And so I feel like two
female
different
nurturing.
Yeah. Two different sides of it. Yeah.
The nurturing part of a female potentially.
Yeah.
Plus that, if her mom was a psychologist,
and I feel like
she might have felt more equipped.
Yeah. And I think that's exactly why. But I feel like she kind of tired herself out from doing that,
rather than just playing the role of the trainer.
Yeah.
Prajna and I see this in the yoga world. We see it in the personal training world. We see it in the life coaching world, et cetera, where you have to have a very high level of self-awareness when you take on those kinds of roles to assist other people. And that is because you can't be playing your life out with your client, contestant, patient, whatever. And we've seen a lot of that. I mean, we see that with yoga teachers. We see that with, personal trainers, all of the above, et cetera. And it's a very, very tricky space.
Yeah.
I say this in somewhat in jest, but like my husband and I will laugh, and I've laughed about this with Praj before, that some of the most like codependent people I've ever met are people who deal with codependency as psychiatrists or psychologists, like in the therapy world. And you see them playing things out with their patients, et cetera. And that becomes a very dangerous space, because you have to separate yourself from, you as the contestant or, the client, quote unquote, in this situation. She needed to separate herself. Like, this isn't about her. This is about you, Mandy, what's in Mandy's best interest. And that path is going to be very different than what, in this case, Jillian's path is, or mine, or Prajna's, or whomever.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I definitely think the lines got blurred a little bit with her. And I feel like everyone, that's their favorite. How was Jillian? As a trainer, she's amazing. She obviously knows what she's talking about.
Yes.
She was good. She knew how to have good TV. She knew, when the cameras are there, she's like, hey, I'm going to push you. I'm like, okay, do it. Let's do it. We had a really great relationship when it came to that. And then it just got a little too real, I think. And so too much. Yeah. And so when I did get switched to Bob's team, I was almost relieved,
I could totally see that.
She never spoke to me again after that.
Really?
Never.
Wow.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And for the record, that has nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
Nothing. So thank you.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that, because what you're sharing in this story is not just about your experience about making a huge transformation and the impact that has on your life and the people around you, but also the people who are helping with that transformation. This is a word to the wise. You have to maintain that integrity and that professionalism, because I think a lot of trainers and coaches and teachers out there often take personally the success of their client or their patient, whether they do, quote, well or poorly or indifferent.
Yeah.
And that's something that people who are going into this field that are doing that, whether personal trainer, doctor, therapist, whatever, have to be very, very aware of. So thank you for sharing that on that side of things, because it has an impact. It has an impact. Praj, any thoughts on that?
Just, I would say, from the trainer's perspective, that was maybe her awareness that it was time to step back.
Yeah.
That was her. She let it go too far.
Yep.
Yeah.
And her awareness was, wow, I think I need to be done.
Yeah. And I think when she said, when you were saying that she was like mentally, I feel like mentally for her as well, like she couldn't
100%.
Yeah.
She was putting her heart and soul into it, and it was just too much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So appreciate that.
Yeah.
Praj.
Well, we always like to have kind of one of our final questions, kind of coming back to our year of, living a life of purpose. So this is kind of a why or why not, or if so, how. So did The Biggest Loser set you on a different path for a life of purpose? If so, how? And if not, why not?
Yeah. I think it made me see more clearly what my purpose was or is.
And what is that?
I love helping people. I love making people feel beautiful. And I think
I love that.
me questioning if I wanted to be in the hair industry or not, or me, even though I am not a trainer and have thought it would be way too frustrating for me to be a trainer, because I'm like, if I tell someone to do something and they don't, I'm going to be like, yeah, no, I'm not. I don't got time for you. But I feel like I still motivate people, and that makes me happy. It makes me, I still have friends that are like, yeah, I see that you were at the gym at 5 this morning. Like, go you, but I was in bed, like whatever. But low key, it gets me motivated. And I'm like, I love that, because it fulfills my cup. I'm definitely used to be a people pleaser. Now I feel like somebody that wants to see happy people around me. So if that's me making you feel beautiful, me motivating you, me encouraging you, I think being the director at the beauty school is so fun, because I get to work with a team and build these amazing leaders and future professionals. And it fills my cup, makes me happy. So yeah.
How about
That's awesome.
you are not just a woman warrior, but a total inspiration. And
thank you.
I love how, it's so great to see inspiring women doing inspiring things in so many different ways. I love how you described your sister, she lives out loud, and how you're more, more reserved, and how that still is so inspiring. I feel like that's mine and Prajna's relationship. Praj is so inspiring and much more low key, and I'm like, blah, so it works. It really works.
Yes, it does.
So, yeah.
It does.
Mandy, thank you so much
Yeah,
for sharing your. Is there anything else that you wanted to share that you feel like is hanging out there about your experience? I feel bad because I didn't mention Bob very much, but I always say one thing, because people always ask me about Jillian. I'm like, okay, but Bob gets a bad rap. I love Bob.
The thing that I love to say was, you worked out hard for Jillian so she didn't break your arms. You work out hard for Bob because you want to make him proud. And I feel like those are two different training methods, but I loved the way he pushed you, because he wanted you, and it could have been because I just went through all that with Jillian, that this is what I saw, but I felt like he wanted you to do good for you, and that's the coach I needed at that time.
I love that.
And it was so good. Yeah.
And there are many different types of coaches out there,
Yeah.
and it's wonderful you were able to experience two very different.
Yeah.
But huge Bob fan.
Yeah.
So I love
and
that.
I think that's why I like Fit Body, because every time I go, I don't know what coach I'm getting, and it's fun, know, because I just like the different types. So it's fun.
Variety's good.
Yeah.
We all need different things at different times. So awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me.
This is so great.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to share this story with everybody. One of the things that I do want to share is that Prajna and I, as part of the Woman Warrior Academy, have opened up our membership community. It's just $25 a month, with inspiring stories and videos every single day to keep you motivated. Have all different types of information in there about all the layers of the self: physical, energetic, mental, emotional, level of awareness, and our spiritual connection. So visit the womanwarrioracademy.com and join our online community, because we have inspiring women like Mandy here, who will be sharing information, and women who are in there having conversations about everyday real life things. We're currently working through our power list. And people are sharing what their 3 to 5 power list items are daily that will move them forward, either personally or professionally. And I'm seeing them accomplish those things, because it is the small things that make a huge difference. So it's not the big workout, it's the small workouts every single day that get you to where it is that you need to be. So definitely come and join us. So that leads us to our segment of Try This, Not That. So, Master Madhavi,
Okay.
tell us.
So from the Dinacharya list, so this would be the next one. So this was clean the face, mouth, and eyes. So try this, not that. Cleaning the mouth, face, and eyes. Splash your face with cool water and rinse out your mouth. Wash your eyes with cool water and massage the eyelids by gently rubbing them. Blink your eyes 7 times and rotate your eyes in all directions. Dry your face with a clean towel. So this one is definitely, notice a lot of water in that statement. So not your, facial cleanser, not your astringent, like just plain water. And I know our water has stuff in it too. However, just getting some nice, cool water on the face, waking you up in the morning. Very refreshing. I love the eye movement.
Yes.
Again, the eyes are kind of the way into the soul.
That's right.
So
it's the seat. It's the seat of discernment.
Mm-hmm. So just giving them that moisture that they need in the morning, very crucial. The next part is rinsing your mouth out. And that is definitely something where the water for the face, for the mouth, we definitely recommend swishing some type of either coconut oil or some other type of oil. We call it oil pulling. So you do that. You put maybe anywhere between a half or a full tablespoon in your mouth. You swish it around I like to do it before I walk my dog because we try to do it for about 10, 15 minutes. Mm-hmm. So I do it right before I walk my dog. Because I spit it out on the street. You don't want to spit it into your sink because then you'll get a buildup of oil in your sink.
And then your plumber will be at the house.
And yes. And then you'd be like, why did I do this? So either in your toilet or if, again, you can take a walk outside, basically spitting it out into the street. What you want to put this in place of is the mouthwash.
Yes.
So there's a lot of podcasts out there that I have listened to and a lot of information out there about, yes, the commercials say kills 99.5%
Look at you with the
of germs in your mouth, because I just saw the commercial today for Listerine or something like that. Well, the problem with that is you not only are killing the microbes in your mouth, but then, that's also killing the microbes that then go into your stomach and your digestion. And it's not good, people. Your digestion starts in your mouth.
And absolutely. And also things like Listerine have huge alcohol content in it.
And sugar.
So it actually dries your mouth out and also causes inflammation with the gums and things like that. So
it makes it feel all nice and fresh and minty, but it's a false sense of feeling clean.
You can also use coconut oil and put a few drops of peppermint essential oil in there to get the fresh minty.
Or clove. Or clove. Something.
Yes, clove is excellent for the gums. Mm-hmm. Good one.
Yeah.
All right. So try this, not that.
Yep, absolutely.
Love it. Well, friends, we are at the final segment of our podcast, which is our Oracle card. And because Mandy is so amazing, she gets to choose the Oracle card for the week. So, all right.
We did reduce it down a little bit, so we're not having to flip through a ton of cards. So, Mandy, pick a number between 1 and 14.
Ooh, 8.
Drum roll.
Drum roll. Here we go. Crystals.
Ooh.
Healing energy.
Do you want to see it?
Yes.
Yeah. Share it with her.
Okay.
Okay, crystals. Healing energy.
Your connection to crystals and gemstones is a channel for healing energy. This card is a signal for you to delve more deeply into your understanding of crystals and gemstones, as they're calling you to work with them as a part of your life purpose.
Ooh.
These objects amplify and direct the divine healing energy to people, animals, and the environment. Each one has a life force to which you've often connected. Now it is time to research this connection through classes, books, and intuitively communicating with crystals. There's a reason why crystals are used in watches, computers, and medical devices, namely their power to magnify energy and light in directed ways. Similarly, you can use them for healing purposes to amplify your natural abilities. Your work may combine crystals with massage, energy healing, arts and crafts, hairstyling, or, didn't say that, but, or other endeavors.
That's an
making
art.
people beautiful.
Making people beautiful.
Regardless of what you do, be sure to include these powerful objects. If you're new to working with stones, paying a visit to a gem shop is a good starting place. Walk through with an open mind and your heart and notice which crystals attract you. Then read up on the healing properties of the ones that call to you. You'll find that they provide exactly the energy most needed at the time. Trust that this law of attraction process will also work through you to help your clients.
I love that. I actually have some stones that sit on my desk at work.
There you go.
Yeah.
Love that. What, do you know which stones they are?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I have a rose quartz.
Wonderful.
I have an amethyst. I have something that starts with a T. It's black. It's supposed to be for protection.
Tourmaline?
Tourmaline.
So
yeah.
American? Yeah.
And then I have one other one. I don't remember what that one is right now, but yeah.
Well, and based on the fact that all of us are talking about, we really need to cultivate more of our spiritual practice. There you go.
Yeah.
There it is.
True.
It always works out the way it's supposed to. So,
Awesome.
Mandy, thank you so much for being on the show
thank you.
today.
It was so fun.
This was amazing, and just love your story. Woman warrior in the house here, people. We absolutely love it. So thank you, everybody, for joining us on the Woman Warrior podcast. And again, ladies, thewomanwarrioracademy.com. Join the online community. Be part of an inspiring group of women on all levels of the self. We would love to have you join us. Any final words, Praj?
Just thank you for being here. It truly was inspiring. And
Awesome.
your story
Thank you.
is just awesome.
Excellent. So thank you so much, friends. And we will see you again very soon. Jai Bhagwan, and may your soul be victorious.
Is life hard? Yeah, it's really fucking hard. And you can also have the life it is that you want. You just got to work for it.